How's it going, UBL Nation? My name is Broken Pinky, and I'm back a little bit quicker than usual. And as always, I'm joined with a special guest. Introduce yourself.
Hello. That's my line. You can't steal it. That's mine. Everyone in the UBL trying to take my intro.
Mr.
I've been
Winda
doing this for over 4 years now.
Winda
That's
Gaming
my
tried to
intro.
steal his own intro. You love to see it. It's beautiful. But yeah, we're here to do a bit of some standings update as we are, 4 weeks into the season. We're at that halfway point, and I thought it'd be a good time to, bring on the GOAT of the UBL history, and sort of go over, what we expect to see as we enter the back half of the season.
Yeah, it's been a really, really interesting season to watch, especially because I get to see it a bit more, like, I get to observe more because I don't have to play in it, so I just get to kind of see what's happening, and it's been a really interesting one this season. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and some highlights for some players, and some less highlights for some others, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I mean, right now we have our standings in front of us. I believe it's top 6 cut for playoffs. I might just have gotten confirmation right now because I see I got a DM in my Discord. So yeah, top 6 make playoffs as confirmed by Canner himself. And we already have, our top 6 sort of separated just a little bit. The teams that have 1 win or less versus the teams that have 2 wins or more. I think pretty solidly we can say that Kathy of the Coda Fan Club has secured her spot into playoffs, just with a very dominant performance this season thus far, only dropping 1 game in 1 set.
Yeah, she has put on an absolute clinic, showing why not only Stack Attacker is the go, but also Finny.
Yeah.
Like prior to if we're doing mid-season recap for week 4, and Finny hasn't died as of week 4. Like Finny is 12-0 as of week 4.
I think on the dock it's 12-2, but
That's because I updated it. I updated that for week 5 because I didn't know that it was a week 5 game until after I put in all the stats, and I wasn't going back to change it because it was a week 5 game played at literally 1 minute past midnight UK time.
so funny.
They literally played it as soon as it turned midnight Monday morning. They played. So yeah,
that's a little goofy.
yeah. Finny's really shown up this season. For Kathy, just doing what Finny does best, just kind of sitting around, clicking buttons, doing good damage. Occasional calm mindsets, occasional spec sets. Just does what it does best. Just great typing, great ability. Getting to go.
Right now, the kill leaders are on your screen. Faney sitting at the top with 12. Celesteela and Terrakion from Fat Rat sitting close behind it. Stack Attacker at number 5. So, I guess our top 5 is Feeney, Celesteela, Terrakion, Mega Mawile, and Stack Attacker. And I think a lot of those make sense. They're very, strong, powerful Pokemon. 3 of them are Steel types. A fairy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. we got 3 steals in there. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, and
3 steals, and they're all overtaken by a fairy.
And they're all
they're all Trick Room steals, and the only other Pokemon in there is a fairy who isn't weak to steel, and a Terrakion,
which is weak to steel and only hits one of them super effectively. And it's the 211 defense and Kentera. So. I think with top 6 from seasons prior, when we have done top 6, I believe 4-3 gets you into playoffs. So I believe Kathy at this point is guaranteed. Then with following on from that, we've got 3 coaches at 3-1. We've got the Balling Ballers and Fat Rat, the Salty Swampert and Lord Nobody, and Team Skull and Final Gambit, all 3-1.
Gambit
pretty
falling
close,
behind a
isn't it?
little bit in different. Yeah, it's 1 point in differential, like behind for Gambit, but otherwise they're pretty even.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, Rat and Nobody being like deadlocked, even though nobody beat Rat, I think is kind of funny. And then Gambit, of course, being a very strong coach in their own right. And then rounding up the top 6, we have Chris and Eris of Titanic Destruction and Fairfax Relegator, respectively. I believe they both have 1 match missing each. So
yes,
that could shake up the standings potentially. Obviously, not all the games have been played for the season, and that's just of various reasons. And that's, I mean, it just kind of always happens, and just gotta roll with the punches.
yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a silly season to say the least. As you kind of said, Winda, 4-3 is usually like the cutoff point.
Yeah.
So to already see Canner at 1-4, I think is definitely a surprise for a lot of people. But it's just been a rough season for him, I think.
Yeah. They kind of had a rough start with the season, kind of figuring out their team. I think, like, within, like, the first 3 weeks, they made, like, all their transactions, like, to create what I think at this point is quite a radically different team. Because, I mean, now they've, like, at the start of the season, it was, like, Sneasel, Dragapult, the Demon Duo, and now it's Spam.
Yeah, he's returned to his roots and he's gotten Spam. Although the Deoxys is already firmly secured on Betrana's team, so.
Yep. So they got Mega Gardevoir, which I actually think I would prefer. I think Mega Gardevoir is just a better Pokemon.
I mean, that's fair, especially when you have consistent Tailwind and you have the double spread move shenanigans.
Yeah. And like the thing as well with Gardevoir is like even in actual VGC when it was used, you could just bring it like on with Tailwind and then just run Trick Room on it, and it's like, oh, the matchup calls for Trick Room, I'm just gonna set Trick Room.
Yeah.
Like they've already got an amazing TR setter, but just like when you don't know whether you're gonna need TR or not, you can just bring Mega Gardevoir with Trick Room and be like, cool. So
I mean, in the short time that he's had Gardevoir, already has 5 kills in just 3 weeks. That's pretty respectable, to be honest.
Yeah. Mega Gardevoir, really solid Pokemon, just does really good damage. Yeah, strong spread fairy moves are very hard to come by. So
yeah. I mean, that Hyper Voice hits like a truck. It is.
yes. And it's
brutal.
very respectably bulky. So it's just been an unfortunate season for Canna. It is what it is. We all have bad seasons.
Do we all have bad seasons?
Listen, I didn't win the last time I played.
Your bad season was getting 3rd.
No, I did have. I have had a couple, quote unquote, bad seasons. Like season 4 was like a really bad one for me.
I mean, yeah, but like
season 4. That's the only one I actually didn't
season
make
4 was
in.
Gen 8. Like let's be so honest. That was like 5 years ago.
It was Gen 8. It was single restricted, and I didn't get any of the restrictors I wanted.
Yeah, dude, I was in the minor division of that league, or like the lower division. Shit was rough. I had Giratina. You know how dog shit that Pokemon is? It's so bad.
I had Calyrex Shadow Rider, and I couldn't win a game to save my life.
Okay, that's on you. I'm sorry, that's on you.
Because all people would do was go, okay, what Pokemon on my team has Snarl? Okay, I'm gonna bring that, and that's it. That was my entire team shut down.
Once again, that is on you. I did not feel bad for that.
I lost to a Dynamax Umbreon. Like I couldn't beat it.
Okay, that's pretty funny. You gotta admit.
I'm just like, damn. Yeah, no, that's it. I can't do this.
I mean, hey, nowadays you can Terra Fairy and you can give it a little kiss.
Anyway, yeah, so we've got a few teams that haven't played all their matches. Like we've got Gig and Lyric, the Unbroken Leaves, and the Flower Amphineons that are missing 2 games. It is what it is. But 1-1, they can both have a pretty big like comebacks and shoot up the standings. Then we've got the Komarucho Oranges and Orange. Unfortunately out of playoff contention at this point, but have put on a pretty respectable showing despite their record. I feel like games have looked closer than they would appear the standings show. And then for Trina with the team that still doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean? I don't know how much of the rosters page I can actually recap. Oh, I can't get all the way down. Oh well. Yeah, but
so
Trina's got a goofy team.
It just doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense even after the changes. But yeah, talking about like some of the players that I've been most impressed with, Eris, Biggie, currently 2-1. They've been really showing how much better of a player they've gotten over these last few seasons, and it's awesome to see. I love it when you see people improve. It's just like, yay, we get to see everyone do better. Like it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, especially getting a win over Rat. That's a really solid win. And only losing to nobody who's like of that echelon. It's actually like an interesting. Actually, it's not even rock paper scissors. It's just nobody kind of beat them both. But yeah, I mean, Eris has definitely had a really strong season thus far, and I'm excited to see what more they can do. They're going to go up against Lyric for week 4, and I think that's going to be a really good match as well.
Yeah, and like with a team that I certainly doubted, but they've made it work. They've made Mega Lopunny look like a much better Pokemon than I gave it credit for. I know it was like
doubting Mega Lopunny.
I was like, it's fine, but like I don't know. But no, they've made it look really solid. Like I was like, obviously I know it's good in singles, but I was like, I just don't know if it's got the damage output or the survivability to really keep up in doubles.
That's fair.
Because obviously in singles it's a monster. You like switching in, not a possibility. That mon just trucks through you. But in doubles I was like, it can't hold an item. It gets intimidated pre-mega. Is it going to be able to keep up? And it's shown it has. It's been a really solid support offensive Pokemon. The type of Pokemon I would like to use. So maybe I might give that a try when I come back. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and also Eris did something completely out of the ordinary in drafting an actual Trick Room mode.
I know, and it's a Trick Room mode that I actually have used.
It's a really strong one.
Yeah, I really like the combination of. Did I use Slowking Gala? It might have been.
You used regular Slowking. I know you have used that one.
I have used Slowking. I don't think I've used those two together. I think when I used Copper Raja, I had Hatterene. But I used Slowking Gala and Escavalier in Season 7. Because I used regular Slowking in Season 6, and then it got moved up in price. And then I used Slowking Gala in Season 7 because I wanted to pair it next to Escavalier to Sludge Wave with. And I feel like I've at least drafted Slowking since. Just a good Trick Room setup.
Yeah, ability as well.
That's the thing. It doesn't get Oblivious, not the Galarian version.
It doesn't? Oh, it gets Curious Medicine. That's right.
Yes, that's why it's priced lower. The Galarian forms lose Oblivious for their signature ability. So that's why they get priced a bit lower.
What does Curious Medicine even do again? I forget.
It's like Haze, when you switch in.
Oh. Ew.
So it's good for resetting Intimidate.
Okay. I guess.
But for the most
yeah.
But for the most part, it's like Regenerator.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have Copper next to it, it's not bad. But also, like, why would you be switching out your Slow King and leaving in your Copper?
If you're switching out, you want the regen.
Yeah, this is a good point as well.
So yeah, but yeah, they've made the team look a lot better than I would have expected, and I think that's proof of a really good player. Is because like before, I feel like the big season we saw Eros pop off, we were all gassing up their team, and this team feels a lot less good, but is still managing to put in a good amount of work. So yeah. Really happy to see that.
And it's a very flexible team as well. I mean, of course, like stands out as like the big dog, but like Sun is used like very creatively, like as a very strong threat with that Murkrow. I mean, good for the Ogerpon, good for the Wake, good for the Shocks, good for the Sunflora. I mean, it's just a very well thought out team, I feel like, and he's been executing it really well.
Yeah, I was a big doubter on the team, so I was like, this team needs Torkoal. They proved me wrong. You know what? I'll stand up in a minute. I'm not going to stand up because I'm comfortable in my chair, but I'll admit it. You know what? I was wrong. They have really shown that the team can work without Sun. And you know what? Fair enough to them. I'll admit when I'm wrong. So yeah. Speaking of when I thought I was wrong, the Titanic Destruction and Chris, they have made some changes since the start of the season. I think I helped them make some of these changes. I think they asked after PRs what they wanted to do. They made all their transactions, and now they've got Ludicolo, Azumarill, Politoed, Doublade, which actually has put in a shift in some games.
No, Doublade is so good.
Yeah.
People sleep on Doublade a lot. It's a crazy good mon. 110 attack, 150 defense. Like that's a hell of a mon.
Yeah. It's still got, obviously the team still has things I'm not super big on, like triple fighting, but like they've made it work. And the rain aspect of this team, like it's showing that why Ludicolo was such a dominant force for so many years. Like it's been really good in the games that I've watched. Zuma's always a threat. Doublade has become a threat. And the support for the team is actually really nice. Like it's ended up working out a lot better than I thought. And again, like sure it's had some changes, but they've made this team that I thought on paper wasn't going to work, but they've made it work. And it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see players improve. So yeah, no, I've got no complaints.
Yeah, I definitely also had my doubts about Chris's team, but he's been playing amazingly, especially in that set against Pyrus, that sort of rain versus sun battle. Did a good job of like keeping that composure, even when Pyrus was like going kind of crazy with the skill swap, Sableye, and all that kind of stuff.
No, that was heat. That was heat. Yeah, that was really good. Like that game was a real treat to watch if you haven't got and watched it. So yeah, again, I like seeing people improve, and this has been an amazing season for Chris. So
yeah, I'm looking at the rest of Chris's season, and I'm not gonna say like it's easy by any means, but fighting the Mogul Mercenaries, fighting what's the next? I think it's the Unbroken Leaves and the Fargo Serendipity. So some of the teams sort of lower on the standings, and although they are some really strong coaches, I think Chris is in a pretty solid spot to get himself into playoffs.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a high possibility of that, and it's exciting to see. Yeah, it's just always nice to see people improve, and this has been a season for it.
Absolutely.
Next up, Rat. It feels like a long time since I've seen Rat do this well.
I agree with you there. No, Rat's been doing fantastically this season, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. I mean, getting a huge upset win in week 1 over Canner. Aided by Lady Luck, of course, but still, that was a really bad matchup. shat on that matchup a lot, and he pulled it through. Week 2
Yeah.
lost to nobody to Big E, sorry, in a game 3 set. And then who did he beat in week 3? Beating Orange, and then in week 4 beating nobody in a 2-0 set.
Yeah, it was like Rat went back to back bad matchups because the Rat Big E matchup was also horrible for Rat as well.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And he still kept it pretty close, and then has even managed to beat Lord Nobody, who's I feel like kind of the gatekeeper for a lot of like to get into the upper echelon of like the tippy top of players. You've got to be able to beat Lord Nobody. And I mean, Rat's done it this season in what I would call a commanding fashion.
Yeah, 2-0.
So,
I mean, that's a statement.
Yeah, and with some of the highest kill leaders, with that Celesteela, with that Terrakion. I literally said, I was, like, me and Kanna have been arguing about this, not, like, as much recently, but, like, towards the start of the season, I was literally like, Celesteela's broken. And he was like, no, Celesteela's easy to beat. And now I'm just looking at the Celesteela like 11-4, and I'm like, yeah, even without Terra, Celesteela's broken. It's such a good mon. It just doesn't die. Except when it does.
But it doesn't. I mean, it's only died 4 times, and it consumes so many resources to kill, because like you have to hit it a lot. Like it takes at least 3 or 4 hits to take this thing down, at least for neutral hits, and it just fires off heavy slams, and they just do big damage. Or throws off a bunch of leech seeds, and it just chips you down, wears you out for forever and ever.
Yep, and then you can't kill it. And pair that with the massive offense of this Terrakion, which I didn't expect Terrakion to go this ham. I'll be honest. Yeah. I thought Terrakion was going to be like, alright, sure, it could have been Annihilate, whatever. Sure, it's a Terrakion now, it'll come up occasionally, I guess. No, Terrakion's been putting in a shift. Terrakion has kind of been pulling its weight this season. He's been on Fraud Watch for a bit now, but this is the season.
Yeah, and that mouse hold, very good supportive piece that Rad has been using extremely well, as well to protect that Celesteela even more, and obviously always threatening beat up with that Terrakion, even if that's not necessarily going to be the end game he goes for. He's making you consider it, and that in and of itself was a very strong, just extra dimension to that team that looks, otherwise looks fairly one note.
Yeah, and even some of the other, pieces that aren't shining as much in the kill leaders, but have shown up in game and have done quite well. Hydreigon, always a great mon. Killer Wattrel, great Tailwind support. Milotic, been putting in a shift in some games. Runarigus, Dashbun, like, these Pokemon have all been pretty solid, and while don't show up, at the top 3 of kill leaders, they've been helping support in their own way, whether that's doing that extra bit of breaking, or providing speed control, or just whatever it needs to be. Rat's made this team work. And,
I mean, he does have, unfortunately, a pretty difficult back half of the season, because he runs into Lyric, who has 3 electric types, so that Celesteela is fun. And then after that is Gambit into Kathy. So
yeah,
pretty rough back half for Rat, all things considered. But he's built up a ton of momentum early in the season, and I think he can. I still believe him. I think he's a really strong player.
He has come out swinging this season, and I think the momentum of beating Lord Nobody last week will help maybe carry that momentum into the following weeks, into the back half of this season, and we'll see how well they end up. Next up, Lord Nobody doing Lord Nobody things. I feel like every time we talk about Lord Nobody and any of their teams, it's just like, yep, that's Lord Nobody, that's their team, and they somehow do it. Sometimes it just defies explanation.
I'll be the first to admit that I did not know what his team was doing. Especially before he made his transactions, because like once he got Sinistra, I was like, okay, you get your Trick Room core, you get a Trick Room mode, you don't have 13 Tailwind setters on the same team, you have redirection, but it really felt to me like he was just pulling a rabbit out of a hat in those first few weeks, and now he has a much stronger team, I feel like, and he's just putting work with it.
Yeah, it's just been good stuff. It's been a good stuff team, and like it feels like, oh yeah, so there's a Fairy Dragon Steel Core, but Fairy in quotation marks, but then that's their kill leader. Like Florges is their kill leader right now.
Nah, Florges is great. Y'all be shitting on Florges. That motherfucker has so much goddamn SPDEF.
I am Florges' #1 lover, okay? I love Florges. Okay? But I tried to use it in like season 10 and it just didn't click for me. Like for doubles. Like I love it in singles, but doubles it just didn't click for me. They've made it work this season. So, you know, I may have to try that again at some point.
Mega Mens is wild.
Yeah, Mega Mens, Genesect, not Mega Blastoise, regular Blastoise. I think they had Mega Blastoise last season. I think it was.
Yeah, wow. I didn't realize how close all of it was.
Yeah, it's
11, 13, 14, and then Mets into 22. And Hariyama into 23. Like, damn.
Yeah, just they've been using all of their different pieces like pretty well. Sinistcha actually really. I was like, okay, sure, they've got Sinistcha now, but it's really helped the dynamic of this team. Like a really solid Trick Room setter, keep some of these bulkier Pokemon alive, like the Florges, like the Hariyama, and even the Pokemon with just naturally good typing, like Salamence and Genesect. Like it's been working really well. So
yeah, I mean the team just has a ton of bulk to begin with. Like all of the like main 6 that you expect, which is like Sinistcha, Mence, Genesect, Blastoise, Hariyama, Florges. All super bulky.
Yeah.
It leaves like a lot of staying power and a lot of flexibility into how nobody wants to attack, because he knows he's going to be able to survive for quite a while, and that just gives him time to like mess with you.
Yeah, you know, combine that with the Intimidate on pre-Mega Ments, strong pivoting with the Genesect as well. Like those U-turns hurt. You do not want to calc against a choice banded download boosted U-turn. Like neutral hits will like hit you for like 70. It's disgusting. And even then they had this amazing set for near the start of the season with that normal gem Genesect with the symbiosis giving it a life orb afterwards from the Florges. And it was picking up KOs like I've never seen a Genesect do. It was disgusting. So yeah. It's Lord Nobody. They pick a good bunch of Pokemon alongside a Colossal, and they make it work. I
love the Jabba Colossal. Oh my god. Hey, Cole carried my ass in season 4 when I had the broken Gigantamax form, but it still carried me.
I'm saying this, and it's the reason why I lost like last season, because I was like, oh sure, so they're just gonna use Colossal for speed, and no, they just brought Terra Grass Colossal to beat my Blood Moon Ursaluna in Trick Room, and I was like, oh, well I guess I'll die. So yeah, no, I just still like disrespecting Colossal because it's funny.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's Lord Nobody. Lord Nobody has been a long-standing top level player for the UBL, and as I said before, feels like the benchmark, feels like the gatekeeper for getting into the tippy top. You've got to be able to beat Lord Nobody to get on this ride, and that ride is not just making it into playoffs, but making it to a championship. You've got to beat Lord Nobody to be able to get there, just because of their flexibility in team building as well as play. So, yeah, as usual, good stuff to know. Lord Nobody, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, super duper. Just not enough good to be said about Nobody as a player and as a builder, because like, especially with this team, I didn't really talk about this much, but like, I guess I haven't in the pick'ems and stuff. But his positioning ability with this team is crazy. Like, You have redirection,
Yeah.
double fake out, and like super strong U-turn, and you even have like shit like Florida's baton pass if you want to get like that crazy Blastoise flip turn. Like the momentum and positioning abilities on nobody's team is so strong.
Yeah, and the Pokemon coming in can take advantage of that. You know, the Sinister giving the hospitality, Mence with the Intimidate, Genesect coming in and getting a download boost. Like it's all there. So it's just ended up working out a lot better than I would have expected. I think what I've learned is I need to reevaluate how I evaluate teams. Maybe.
Yeah, I think I'm in a similar boat. And I guess on a similar note, it's another team that I wasn't super high on, but it's been working out really well. Number 2 Team Skull Final Gambit. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of this team at first, but Gambit has been just absolutely destroying people with Mega Mawile and a lot of his other friends.
Yeah. This is, at least for me, the one I'm personally most proud of. I've helped with a couple of their matches, and like I knew the team had potential, and they've shown not only they're comfortable with the team, but specifically like they've been wanting Mega Mawile. They've been wanting to use Mega Mawile, and I think the match against Canna was the one that showed how well they're good at using it. They literally DM'd me afterwards and said, I used Substitute Mega Mawile not to like give myself the opportunity to Swords Dance, but just to click Substitute and make them not fear it, because all I was doing was clicking Substitute and nothing else. And then game 3 they pull out the Swords Dance, and then it was over.
Yeah.
Like that shows not only a comfortability with like certain Pokemon, but that's a certain level of mastery of it to know exactly when to pull out specific like text you've brought in a matchup. Knowing when to do it is a really tough skill to manage. So, alongside the great supporting pieces of this team, like Fergaraf, who has shown once again why it is such a great Pokemon, Iron Moth, who has gone ham in some games, Bastiodon, who's been the GOAT, Bastiodon doing Bastiodon things, being the Steel type that can actually Terror and then do the big damage, as well. Like when Mega Mawile isn't quite enough, sometimes you just go Bastiodon and you go, alright, kill me. Do it. Try. You won't.
And meanwhile, I'll just be sending Body Press into your face and have fun with that.
Yeah.
Or Foul Play. Why does it get Foul Play? Like, my goodness. What
So,
a stupid Pokemon.
It's so good. Yeah, just been really really awesome to see them improve as well. So yeah, I can't say enough good about it. I felt pretty confident in the team. I felt like Meowscarada or Bulu had to go, and I think at this point I would get rid of Meowscarada if they got the chance. I didn't think I'd say, oh yeah, keep Bulu. Don't get rid of Meowscarada, keep Bulu. Bulu's been working well because like the team is so fat.
Yeah, and Bulu is super good here, especially because it's like another auxiliary Trick Room piece. That, I mean, it also functions like it's a Tail Room on because it's like such a perfect speed stat for that.
Yeah.
And either way, it's going to be hitting you with fat ass wood hammers, and you are not going to like it.
Yep. So yeah, I didn't expect to be saying that like a month after the season started. But here we are. But yeah, no, that like the teams worked out really well for them. And excited to see, because like these 3 teams at the top, besides Canna, they all only need one more win to really get into playoffs. So it'll be exciting to see if they do get into playoffs, which I would feel pretty comfortable saying that all of them have high chances of doing so, how they adjust into playoffs and see how far they get.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gambit has a super, like, scary team. But I will admit, when I first saw it, I thought I was like, oh, it's just kind of Mawile and friends, and then there's, like, a fast mode, kind of. But, like, I didn't really see the vision, so to speak. And to be frank, I haven't seen all the games, so I haven't seen fully how they've put it into practice. But I mean, the results speak for themselves. Mawile has been such a strong Pokemon. Iron Moth also high up in the kill leaders, at that number 9 spot, still in the top 10. And just really good supportive pieces. I mean, Furgiraf and Wartortle and Bastiodon, like, cover a kind of crazy amount of, bases. You have your Wide Guard, you have your Trick Room, you have your Follow Me, you have your Fake Out, you have your, Priority Protection, you have Foul Play for anti-setup. Like, a lot of coverage in very few slots, and that kind of lets Gambit go a little bit ridiculous with the offensive pieces that they put around it, especially because, it's a more Trick Room focused team, and I think the meta the past UBL seasons has been to just go faster and faster and faster, and I think Gambit's done a great job of sort of exploiting that, rhythm that a lot of coaches have been falling into.
Yep, and with Pokemon that some people may have not believed in as much, like, Mega Mawile hasn't seen play in a long time. We all kind of know it's good, but haven't really gotten to see it, but they've shown it. And Wartortle, showing why having Eviolite on a Follow Me Pokemon with Fake Out is really good.
Mm-hmm. And
it's just great support.
Gets every goddamn move. It gets, like, Fake Out, Follow Me, Scald, Flip Turn, Haze. Like, it gets
Helping Hand.
Supportive moves. Helping Hand. Like, it gets too many support moves for just being a little guy.
Yeah, he's just a little guy. And, he's shown his worth. I was like, I can't believe someone actually drafted it. Like, I know it's fine, but, like, I wasn't expecting it to...
Round 3 at that, like...
Yeah, and, no, it's shown its worth. It's shown its worth as a support piece, and I specifically like it with Farigiraf, because Farigiraf is a Trick Room setter that does damage, and they've shown it to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have brought Throat Spray a non-zero amount of times, and just stepped on the gas with the Farigiraf, and then, then the Wartortle goes down, and suddenly you're also dealing with Mega Mawile. And then what do you do?
Yeah. I don't know. I would have loved to see, like, Farigiraf in Psychic Terrain and just, like, clicking Expanding Force, but I know that's asking for a little too much.
Yeah. Maybe another time. I mean, what's the one loss to Lord Nobody? I think it was.
Let me check. So, Team Skull beat Pirates week 1. Week 2, they...
Haven't played.
Haven't played yet. Week 3, they lost to Gig 2-0.
Week 3, they lost to Gig, and then week 4...
they beat Canada.
Yeah. So...
And I guess are they missing a game?
Yeah, they're missing a game. They'll...
Wait, how are they 3-1 when they've only played 3 sets? I'm a little confused.
I was thinking that as well. You know what? I have no idea.
Well, you know what? Maybe they just want to be...
I clearly messed up somewhere. Oh no, that was it. I think they got a forfeit win over the Trenner. I think.
Okay.
I will have to double check, but I believe that is what happened.
That would make sense. Yeah, because week 2 has been a little while ago at this point, so I could see if like y'all wanted to call it, be like, okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna move on.
I'm just like scrolling up in scheduling, but yeah, you continue talking.
But yeah, I mean, Gambit's had a really strong season thus far. Even only, I guess being 2-1 of the games that they've played. Really good front half, and just using a lot of mods really well, as we've been saying. Gambit's back half is going to be fighting Big E of the Fairfax Feraligatr in week 5, fighting Rat in week 6, as we mentioned before, and then fighting Nobody in week 7. So a lot of really heavy-hitting matchups to round out Gambit season, similarly to Rat. But I think Gambit is just really good at sort of playing the player, and I think when they go up against like these stronger coaches, as we've seen when they go up against Canner, they really sort of rise to the occasion, because just so good at making those player-to-player reads and knowing just how to think as you progress through a set, which is a very difficult skill to learn, but Gambit has been doing it beautifully, as we said before, with that substitute Swords Dance mind game. It's just working super well for them.
Yeah, it's been really impressive to see, and great to watch, and really happy to see them improve over time. And I can confirm, yes, they got a forfeit win over the trainer, so that's why they're 3-1. So
yeah, and I guess that only leaves us with one team to go in this top 6 upper echelon here. You know her, you love her, Kathy Barra of the Coda Fan Club, claiming lives with this top Buffini and Stakataka, and just going absolutely ham so far in the season.
yeah, and Mega Man Electric.
And Mega Man, yeah.
Mega Man Electric 7-2. I've always believed Pokemon.
She has 3 kill leaders in the top 10. Like, that's insane. Just like how much you have to worry about Feeny, Stack, Main, and just, I don't know. It's such a ridiculously good team that she's been using so well.
Yeah. And even like the Pokemon that it's like, oh yeah, sure, you should be worrying about it, but it's only 4-4. Roaring Moon, like they've been like, it's not been like it's been bad. It's just been the other Pokemon have performed so strong, like like Roaring Moons have to take a bit of a backseat. Because
I've had that happen so much where it's like, yeah, I mean, Roaring Moon's a great Pokemon, but I have all these other demons that keep winning the game first. Just like, I guess I'll go with them. I guess I'll go with my Alolan Marowak that just hits like a truck under Trick Room, or my Stakataka with 211 defense body presses. Like, yeah.
It's one of those where sometimes me and Kath talk about matchups, and it's like, yeah, how would they beat Stakataka? And it's like, well. Yeah, no, you're right. And that's just they've popped off with it this season. And yeah, I just briefly mentioned it. Mega Man Electric, a Pokemon that I believed in. I thought they got Electro if it doesn't. But Intimidate plus no, I was thinking Coco. But Snarl plus Intimidate plus Volt Switch just makes this thing so annoying.
Yeah, it is impossible to pin down because it just switches out. It's like, God damn it, I'll get you next time, and then you don't, because it's fast as fuck.
Yep, and then combine that with the bulk of the Finny and the Stakataka, and even the Roaring Moon to an extent, like, Pokemon that just aren't dying. Yeah, Thraki's bulky. I don't actually know how often it's been sent out, but I know it's at least come to preview a couple times. So yeah, like, it's just been a case of they've used their strongest pieces so well, but also kept people on their toes with some of the other pieces that haven't shined in terms of stats, but in terms of the impact they've had on the game. Like Riolu, Riolu's broken.
Riolu's crazy. It's so
Riolu's like, follow me coaching with Stakataka, and you're like,
yeah,
it's like, great.
Also, like, it's so interesting to watch Kathy do so well with this team, because I believe she's the only coach to have 3 Pokemon over 20 points, which is like a very aggressive style of drafting. But like, you just have to respect so much of this team, especially compounded with the fact that she has Zoroark, and she's by far the best user of Zoroark that I think I've seen, just period. Because like, it's just so much you have to worry about at all stages of the game. And she knows that, and she knows how to exploit you for that. It's just, it's a master of work.
Yeah, I've never been a big Hisuian Zoroark fan, but like, I can't deny that she's been always giving people a scare with Zoroark. Because like, what happens if they lead Riolu Stakataka and suddenly you take like a Spec Shadow Ball and you die? Like, what happens then? So,
or just click Cyber Voice and it gets a +1 boost from the throat spray it's holding, or something like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or like, you just lead Manectric plus Finny, and they're like, oh, they're gonna Mega Evolve and hit me with an electric move, and then it's like throat spray, Hyper Voice plus Dazzling Gleam from Specs Finny, and then you're just crying. So yeah, as always, Kathy came into this league in Season 9 and won it. And and had ever since been looking for a championship. Since then, to be one of the 2 people in this league to have multiple championships, and this might be her season. This might be the one where she gets it.
Especially because she was runner-up last season.
Yeah,
So,
she was like a rock slide flinch away and a decent damage roll in her favor from winning the season. Like,
yeah, and it went down to the wire in Game 3. Like, it was a really tense set that she just barely lost, and she's come back with a vengeance.
Yeah, and this time her finalist opponent isn't around to stop her, so maybe this is it. And really, the only other person to really stop Kathy is me. So
okay, big guy. Okay, I see you. Yeah, I mean, she already beat Canner just before this recording started. She beat Canner 2-1, which somewhat sealed his fate. I think Canner still has a chance. We have seen 3-4 teams make it to playoffs, even in the top half cut.
Yeah, it's possible, but it's gotta be close, especially when there's gonna likely be other 3-4 teams fighting for that spot in playoffs as well. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Not to say some of these teams can't come back and make it. It's very, very possible. But yeah, like highlighting some of these strong teams and really talking about why they've done so well. Hopefully, gives people an idea on what to look for maybe in future seasons, and what we might be looking at in terms of pricing up and down certain Pokemon for the future. But there is one team that we do want to talk about, though, and that is a change in coach.
Yeah, so Pyrus had had some really good games, was able to get a win, but unfortunately, just due to circumstance, it didn't quite work out, dropped out, and in his place, we have Air and the Sydney Scissors to swoop in to that team slot and try to turn the season around, make playoffs. Likely would have to win all of his last 3 games, but he has a pretty strong team to try and do that. So
yeah, as I'm updating everything on their page right now as we go.
Can I go? It doesn't go all the way, unfortunately. You can see a few of the guys. You can see, the Chen Pao, Ogerpon, Okidogi, Rabombi, Gyarados, Weirder. Okay, you can't get all of them, but yeah, because I did this kind of weird, but it's okay. It's vibes. We can just talk about them.
Yeah, Weirder. Then there's Toxapex, Mega Aggron, and Delcatty.
Yeah, I mean, Pex and Delcatty are probably going to be cheerleaders, but Shenpao, Ogre, Okidogi, Rabombi, Gyarados, Weirder, and Aggron, Mega Aggron, they're all pretty solid Pokemon.
Yeah. There is like no special attackers, and I get it. It's a cheer power team, but when your strongest special attacker is weird, it's weird here. You might struggle a little bit.
Gyarados' strongest flying move is Hurricane. I'm just saying. Specs Gyarados has been brought before.
Yeah. Yeah. But like the top I really like, of course, like Chien-Pao, Ogerpon, Cornerstone, Okidogi, and Mega Aggron, just all great Pokemon. So yeah, like no complaints there. I'm big Ogerpon Cornerstone fan.
Like, big rock.
It's a big rock. I literally back in what was it, season 11 when we did tiers for the first time. I looked at every single S tier and I said, instead of like the S pluses, and I was like, yep, Ogerpon Cornerstone's the best one there. And then I won the season with it.
And that was when it had like the Ogerpon clause, right? It's only like 2 Ogerpons could be taken.
Yep, and it was Cornerstone and Wellspring from Rat. And Wellspring was an S plus. So that meant you had to sacrifice an A tier for a B tier just to take it. And they did really well with it, don't get me wrong. But Cornerstone showed why it was good. It hit the Ivy Cudgel button, but then also has Follow Me plus Sturdy, which is dumb.
Yeah, that's
it's so good.
Stupid.
Follow Me plus Sturdy in draft is so annoying because it's like, well, how do you break it? And it's like, well, you don't. And it's like, well, what about feint? It's like, yeah, you're still going to take spiky shield chip.
Such a dumb Pokemon. And has Hornleash to get backed up to sturdy just for good measure if you send out a water type or something.
Yep. Or you just bops things. Relatively fast. Like fast taunt, fast knockoff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Chien-Pao. Feel like has been on fraud watch for Generation 9 in draft, but like when it's good, it's good. But it's just, it always has like the biggest target on its back ever. So
I think we just haven't seen like the right player use it. I think we saw nobody use it, we saw Rat use it, and I don't remember either of them doing incredibly with them. I mean, nobody obviously probably made playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chien-Pao is a really volatile Pokemon to use, so I'm curious to see where Air's going to go with it, considering he's in such a volatile spot for the season. I mean, he has to win his games to make it to playoffs, and he's got to figure out how to make Chien-Pao work in order to do that.
Yeah. I did just realize there's something as well, because I was like, oh, every Pokemon on this team wants a clear amulet. Well, Okidogi doesn't care, because it's got Guard Dog.
Got that dog in him.
Ogabon can't have the item. Chien-Pao probably wants a sash half the time. And then Mega Aggron can't have it. But then I was like, wait a minute. Mega Aggron doesn't need its attack, but it still hits on the physical side.
Because it got body press.
Because it got that body press.
Got that body press.
That thick thighs.
So yeah, the only Pokemon that can hold a clear amulet and wants to hold a clear amulet, I believe, is Gyarados. Because let's be honest, Chien-Pao is going to hold Focus Sash like its life depends on it, because it really does.
It does. It really does. And even then, you can use Gyarados to support as well. Like, support Gyarados has proven its worth in Generation 9. So
by Palafin, yeah. You got your Intimidate, your Thunder Wave. You got your Taunt as well.
Taunt, Helping Hand. It's like surprisingly good support.
I will
Just good
say,
typing.
I'm intrigued to see this, but I think as far as Air teams go, this is definitely the least Trick Room focused I've ever seen him go. It really is just that Aggron with the Weird Ear, and I think Weird Ear is probably more often going to be Imprisoned Trick Room than actual Trick Room. But I could be wrong.
I mean, maybe there's like some matchups where you're like, I'm going to go like Trick Room Okidogi or something like that. Just like against, because there are some still super fast teams. This team at least has the flexibility of going slow, which I do like. And especially just trying to pick up what was available on the board. This like, it works. It's not like an insane team, but it works. It's a solid team. It's got Tailwind. It's got double Intimidate. To keep some of the bulkier threats alive, like the Mega Aggron, Mega Aggron needs Intimidate, but but like Okidogi, the Gyarados and the Weird Ear. It's a solid team, that has a few different ways it could be played. So yeah, we'll see what happens. They're starting on a fresh slate. They've got 3 weeks to play. 4 weeks? 3 weeks? I think it's 3 weeks.
3 weeks, I believe. Yeah, so actually let's look at their schedule. So to round out Air's season, he's going to be fighting Vitrena. He's going to be fighting Gig, and he's going to be fighting Canner. So definitely some of the stronger coaches, but they've not had the strongest seasons thus far. Obviously, Gig has not played most of his matches, but Vitrena and Canner, have more losses than wins for sure. So I think Air has a pretty solid shot, but I'm also not sure how strong of a battler he is at this point in time, because he might still be shaking off some rust. I don't remember the last time he played. So I'm definitely going to be curious to see how his season goes, but I think he has a pretty strong team, and I think he can definitely do it if he gets all of his ducks in a row.
Yeah, I can absolutely see it, so.
But yeah, I think most of the stuff we wanted to talk about has been talked about. I guess the only thing is just like speculating how Gig and Lyric are going to do in the season once they play their games, because I feel like they're both really strong coaches. I think Lyric especially is, having a bit of a comeback to her old form. So I'm curious to see where she's going.
I mean, one of the games that needs to be played is Gig versus Lyric. So that's going to be a huge swing. And then the other ones are um, Lyric versus Big E and Kathy versus Gig. So that one I almost want to just almost write off because Kathy's been. I'm sorry, but Kathy has been proving proving why she's the GOAT. I mean, there's like an Ogerpon Wellspring for the Finny and the the Stack Attacker, but then there's also a Roaring Moon that can Terra Flying and go Burr. So
Yeah. But hey, there's a gouging fire. I love my memes. Say Gex.
say Gex.
But yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about as we get into this mid-season recap?
No, not really. Nothing I can think of. I think we've covered everything that we need to. And best of luck to all of the competing coaches. For those looking to wrap up their season cleanly, for those who are vying for those precious playoff spots, best of luck to you all. And I will be returning next season and reclaiming my title. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you said it a lot nicer than I was thinking. I was thinking I'll be returning and beating all your asses back again, just like old times.
Like old times.
Thanks to everyone who made it this far. Thank you guys for watching this sort of mid-season recap. Good luck to all of you guys. Everyone is still in the playoffs. No one is quite out yet, even if it might look bleak for some. Where there's a will, and I guess where there's a rock slide, there's a way. So
where there's a rock slide, there's a way. If
find your outs and play
if
to
a
them.
certain if a certain rodent has taught us anything,
if a certain enlarged Alolan rodent has taught us anything. But yeah, have a
the
good one,
wretched
y'all.
beast enjoying his meal.
Yeah.
All right, take care, everybody.
Peace.